Hello, and welcome to FilmSlam Streams post-film conversation for Day X. My name is Eric Siler, and I'm a professor of film, media arts, and communications, as well as moderator for this conversation. We are very pleased to be joined by a host of people from the film Day X. First, we have Katharina Rivilis. She's the director for Day X. Hello, Katharina, and welcome.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Next, we have the writer for Day X, Samuel Chalela. Hello, Samuel, and welcome.
Hello, thank you very much for the invitation.
Next, we have Julia Shelhas. She was the cinematographer for Day X. Hello, Julia, and welcome.
Hello, thank you for having us here.
And last but not least, you might recognize her from the film as Frida. We have Ninel Shipkatz. I believe I said that correctly. Hello, Ninel, and welcome.
Hi.
Okay, it's so good to have all of you here for this brilliant film. So let me start with the director. I'll just go around and ask each of your question, Katharina. So as a director for this film, did you work with Samuel? Did Samuel come to you with the idea, or did you go to Samuel with the idea to get this film done?
So we started this project in film school, and there was a seminar where there was a speed dating with authors and directors. And we just had a 5-minute conversation. And after that, I had to take a flight to Cuba. But it was really nice, and we immediately got along really well. And I had this idea of a film that I pitched him really quickly, and we decided to work together. That was it.
Oh, good. So Samuel, when Katharina pitched the idea to you, did you know much about that day back in the 1950s, or did you have to research it to write it?
Not really. We did our research. The film is based slightly on an experience that actually Katharina had. Maybe she can later explain a bit more about that. But it was, more or less this character, this kid, watching stuff happening outside her window, and feeling that anguish and that fear and not knowing what it was that she was afraid of, in a sense. And I did back in Colombia, where I come from, have something similar. So we clicked actually immediately, and then we kind of placed the story back to Germany, and we did our research, and we found like this period of time that we found both quite interesting, in which such a story could develop. So that was more like the process of finding, a period of time.
Good. A great collaborative effort there. Now, Julia, you got pulled into this project. How did you get connected with this project? Did you know Katharina and Samuel ahead of time?
Yes, I knew Katharina. We already did a project together, and we know each other a long time now. and yes, and she showed me the script, and it was beautiful, and we did it.
You did a really beautiful job capturing the images and making us feel like we were experiencing that day. Now, Nael, as an actress, how did you get cast in this? Were you part of a casting call? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Katharina and my parents have friends that lives in the house where Katharina lives, and so I think my parents told her something about me, and then I was invited to casting. Yeah.
Now, have you done any acting before this, or was this your first acting role?
Not films, but like some, how do you call it? Werbespots?
Commercials, image films.
Yeah.
Oh, great. And finally, you were supposed to play an 8-year-old girl in a film. How old are you now? Are you You look a little older than 8.
Yes.
I know a woman doesn't want to tell her age. I'll move on from that. So, Katharina, so directing this film, tell us a little bit more about it. How long did it take to do the film from start to finish, from the writing to the actual shooting to the editing?
So it went all pretty quick, actually. I think we just wrote 2 months maybe. And then the longest time it took to actually produce it, because we got funding from a governmental broadcasting station, that went quick. But then finding the place and the actress, the main actress, was quite a difficult task. But all in all, I think it was just like 1 year writing, shooting, and editing, or maybe 1.5, a little bit more.
Yeah, and how many days of shooting did you do?
I think like 9 or 10.
9 or 10, okay.
Yeah.
Right, great. And Samuel, as the writer, I know you go through, as a writer, you go through lots of different drafts of the film. How did the film change from when you first wrote it to the actual final cut? I know there's been changes.
Yeah, sure they did. It's an interesting question. It's some time ago now, but I would say that the core of the story did survive from the beginning till the end. And I think that's the most important thing. I mean, you go into writing with a motivation, with an idea, with some characters, and I think we preserved them. Some things changed along the way, of course, due to I don't know, different locations, the period in time. You start to think about the characters in another way when you already wrote 2 drafts of the story. So a lot of things change, but this was definitely not the kind of project in which you wrote a lot and changed a lot from the original idea.
Right, good. I just want to let everyone know we're talking to cast and crew from Day X. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A portal and we'll get to them as time allows. Now, Julia, as a cinematographer, which scene did you enjoy filming the most? There were some brilliant scenes. I really enjoyed this scene when Frida's walking and ice is cracking, and also the end with the soldier. Just so many in the house, you know, with the birthday coming up. Is there a particular scene you enjoyed the most?
It's very difficult to say. There are plenty moments that I enjoyed. I cannot think at a moment that I not enjoyed shooting somehow. So it's very difficult for me to pick up a specific one. I think for sure the one in the forest was the most spectacular thing we did during the movies, because all the fog you see, it's fog we created now with machines, and it was freezing cold, and it was just an amazing epic moment also in the as a filmmaker. So yeah, but really I cannot say there's this one thing that I really loved, because through all the process I loved it, and I loved all the scene we did. Yeah.
Right, and as a cinematographer, Katharina gave you a lot of liberty to film in a certain way. Since she was in the film herself, she had to trust you to get the images that she wanted.
Yes, for sure, but I have to say we did a lot of work before. So it's not that we decided on the moment what to shoot, but we talked for weeks and weeks about how everything had to be done. So basically, when we were in the process of the real shooting, we already knew what we were doing, and this also, of course, helps in the process that the director is also one of the main actors, because yeah.
And also, yeah, we were very lucky that we could be on the set of this flat a few weeks earlier, which is very unusual. for a process, and we rehearsed every scene and we shot every scene before the shooting, and I edited a lot of it previously before we actually did the actual shooting. So everything was basically thought, rethought, and then thought again. And so we already had like in a miniature way the film in the storyboard, but also like the shots with stand-ins. Also we rehearsed with Ninette and myself as the mother character, and we already basically did how we were going to plan the angles with camera, the shots and everything.
That's really good that you had the time to do that. It really shows that pre-production that you've done, the pre-shoot and the pre-edit to really, make corrections. A lot of times filmmakers don't have that opportunity. So it shows with that. Nael, after you saw the film, what was your reaction? Is there anything you thought you could have done better, that you liked, disliked? Tell us about your reaction to the film.
So I like the film. I couldn't see the scenes after like we filmed them. Katharina told me that I don't. Ich durfte die Szenen vorher nicht sehen.
Yeah, so she says she was not supposed to see the scenes during the shoot.
Und ja, also ich war nicht überrascht, aber es hat mir sehr gut gefallen.
So
es war nur nicht ganz das, was ich erwartet habe.
So she was not surprised, but she really liked it. But it was not quite as she thought it would be, but she really liked it. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. Nael, do you want to continue acting? Do you want to do more roles?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Would you like to do more films, more commercials, or theater? What do you like?
I think films are my favorite thing to do.
Well, great. Okay. Now, Katharina, with the release of this film, give me your impressions, the reaction, the response that people have had. I don't know if you've had a chance to show it in different countries around the world or not, but just give us some general reaction.
Well, unfortunately, during the pandemic, the film started just very shortly before the pandemic started. So I was just at 2 festivals present, and the reactions were really overwhelming. We showed it in France, and it was a lot of also very young people watching it, and they responded very strongly. But also in the summer, we showed it in a festival in Bavaria, and it was mainly people 50, 60 and up. And they were very surprised that this film also had a run on children and youth festivals that they didn't understand, because for them this was a political film and it had this complex historical setup, how this could also be perceived by a young audience, because for them it was very complex. But I think this is what really made me happy, because it speaks on the personal level of the tragedy of the person, of the character of Frida, to the relationship and her mother, what's happening within the family. It's very, it speaks to different kind of generations, and also it has this political, event, which maybe is more complex to understand, and this also speaks to elder people. So I thought it was really interesting that it worked out, and I was very happy about that. But so far for us, it would be very interesting to hear from the audience now, because we were basically almost all digitally this year or last year. And we would be very happy if there's any questions, because for us, it's the first time a Q&A like this is online. And we'd be very happy to hear something.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, so please put your questions in the Q&A portal and we'll get to them. Samuel, the ending of the film, have to admit, I wasn't sure what was going to happen between the soldier and Frida. Why did you choose that ending? You could have, chose a number of different endings. What was the whole point of, wrapping up the story?
Interesting. What was the whole point? Well, I guess more than a point or a or an how do you say that? More than a goal. I think we stayed true to the character, and that is one major challenge, I think, when you're writing, because as you said, you have this confrontation, well, kind of confrontation at the end, and the threat is there, and the fear is there, and you can sense it. And then we could have gone in a number of ways, but I think giving Frida this kind of rebel attitude in a way, in this smart ass kind of thing, that works a lot for the character, because you understand the character and the fear and the anguish and everything, but we didn't push it like in a plot kind of way. We didn't want to make it more than it was, so to speak. So I think the major challenge and what we focused on was staying true to the character and try really to think, what would this character do in that moment. It also, at the end, it really brings kind of a glimpse of hope in this tragic or dramatic context. And this is more the response of the soldier that is able to see that he's in front of a child and not in front of I don't know, an enemy in that sense. So that's the glimpse of humanity that we wanted to portray, regardless of the context.
Okay. Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. But we do have one question that's come in. Someone wants to know, anyone can answer this. What was the point of the slide projected that Frida received as a birthday gift? So I guess they want to know, what was the point of that? I don't know. Samuel or Katharina?
The point of what again? I didn't hear that right.
The gift that Frida received for her birthday. What was the point of the gift?
Katharina?
I mean, it's called a stereoscope.
Okay.
It's a thing that people used to look at images, and it was very rare in the GDR at this time. I mean, people did not have a television, and looking at images, I mean, it's like looking at books with images, and it's also 3D, this kind of thing. I actually still have it. It's right there. It's very fascinating, because you have this light and you can just really fall into this image. If you come closer, you basically see a three-dimensional. It's like imagining a movie if you slide through different images through it. So it's like pre-form of watching a film, but with your imagination. So I thought it was nice, something nice to have for a child. Yeah.
Oh, good. And another question is, I guess it's a follow-up to this, is how did you get all of the props and the locations? And how did you get all the props and the locations to make this film? So I guess they're wondering, how did you make it look like it was, back in the 1950s?
Yeah, so we had this really amazing set designer, Tatiana Bastos, and she went hunting on things. We have this platform online where you can trade or buy. We did not have much money, obviously, as students. So we basically looked on the platform who gives away old stuff for free, and the big furniture, a lot of it we got for free from this platform. We wrote them. We really love this radio, for instance. We got it as a gift, or the couch we have. But then a lot of stuff also came from a fundus. Is that the right word? Fundus, like a place where you borrow stuff for film props. So the smaller props that had to be authentic also for that time, that are very specific, like just even the matches. Some things you just borrow because you can't find it. But we went on a lot of flea markets, and every one of us was hunting for the right stuff, because everything, every light switch was exchanged. to be authentic. So yeah, it was a lot of, every team member had to help out, and we borrowed a lot of stuff, of course.
Right, that worked out really well, especially with the editing, your colorists and so forth, just to give it an authentic look. So lots of congrats to your editor as well too. Okay, those are some good questions. Before we wrap up here, I just want to go around to figure out what's going on next for everyone. Let me start with you, Nael. Are you working on a film now? Are you doing anything now that we can see soon in the future? I'm not sure. Nael, you hear me?
Right now it's a bit difficult because I have all the time like e-castings because of Corona. Yeah, but I don't film right now, and I don't think like that soon something will come.
Okay, well, hopefully something soon will come. Katharina might have some ideas for you. I'm trying to help you out there. All right, and what about you, Julia? Are you planning on working on any more projects soon?
Sorry, because I in the same room there is another person speaking on Zoom, so it's a bit complicated. But yes, I'm planning actually to do a film with Katharina, so maybe Katharina can say more about that.
Okay, great. I'll get to you last, Katharina. And why I'm going to talk to Samuel. While I'm doing that, can you get the stereoscope? Because I want to see that too while I talk to Samuel. So Samuel, what about you? What are you writing next or doing next that we can see soon?
I finished writing last year a short film and a feature film, and I'm kind of leaning towards direction. So right now I'm, starting to look around for funding and so on, potential partners in crime and so on. Those are stories in Colombia. So I'm living in Germany, so it's kind of a weird way to work, but let's see how it goes.
Oh, great. Well, good luck with that. Good luck. Hey, Katharina, before we hear what you're doing next, you have one of the props from the film. So where did you find that?
On the internet, where you find all these weird things. So somebody sent it for me from another town, but they actually forgot to send the electricity plug. And so I had to find it because it's a very old one that doesn't exist. So yeah, but they had everything, the box, and somebody did not use it much. Yeah, I kept it as a memory. I tried to keep one memory prop of each film. This was it.
Yeah, that is a good part, and it actually works too.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so it just wasn't as a prop that you made it look like it worked. Okay, great. We have one last question that's come in for you, Katharina. Is they want to? Well, I'll answer this. Yes, Katharina did play the mother, and they wanted to know why did you decide to cast yourself in the film?
It was something that I did not invent and plan in the first place, but I'm also a professionally trained actress. And I always had this idea, okay, I'm gonna do it at some point. And so during the casting, as we were looking at different characters or actresses for the girl and also for the mother, and I found Ninel first. And we did a really nice casting together because I was always playing myself in the casting, and I thought we had like a very interesting combination or energy, which was kind of magical. And I, as we were looking at different people, and for me it was also very important to have this kind of, that the people have these connections, the actors. And I also wanted to rehearse, and this way I then decided, okay, I think I actually have this special connection to Ninel, and I think it would be interesting to try it. And it was not something that I planned. I had to first explain it to Samuel and to Julia and the producer, but then we did actually a rehearsal before I made the final decision, and it went really well. And I thought, okay, it feels right, and it's something very interesting because then it's only us, and that I don't have to direct another actress and tell her in the breaks, but I can basically steer the scene myself with the rhythm from inside as the mother. And it was a very lucky constellation.
It did work out really well. Thank you for giving us that insight. And finally, Katharina, what's next for you? Julia mentioned that you're working on something else. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a project about a young girl coming from Germany as an exchange student to the US and exploring the rural America in New Mexico. She lands in a very small town and makes her first experiences of being on her own in a society. And it's set during 9/11, so it's a very special and tense moment in time also. And the project is going to be called I'll Be Gone in June, and we hope to shoot next year in New Mexico. That would be really nice.
That sounds really interesting, really interesting. Good luck with that. And if you're looking for any actors, you have one right here, Niall. I'm sure she would be, if she's available, she would love to be in your film. Niall, I'm trying to help you out. Well, this has been such a great conversation. I thank you all for your time. We are pleased to be joined today by the director, Katharina, and the writer, Samuel, and the cinematographer, Julia, and the actor, Niall, from the film Day X. So thank you all very much for your time today.
Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you to our audience for joining us for this important and invigorating conversation. For more information about the current 45th Cleveland International Film Festival and any future film festivals, please continue to follow Cleveland Films on social media or visit clevelandfilm.org. I'm Eric Siler. Thank you.